Welcome to the Simplicity of Wellness podcast. I'm Amy White, holistic nutritionist, life coach, and weight loss specialist. If you're tired of overcomplicating food, battling your body, and starting over every Monday, you're in the right place. Here we talk about what actually works, simple shifts in food, mindset, and habits that lead to lasting change. Let's dive in. Welcome back, Simplifiers. Let's start with a question. Have you ever known exactly what to do and still not done it? For example, you knew you should eat more protein. You knew the sugar was going to be a problem. You knew what a better day looked like. You knew, and knowing it didn't change anything. Today I want to talk about why that happens. And here's one thing I know for sure. You cannot think your way into a healthy body. You have to live your way into one. By the end of this episode, you're going to understand why knowledge alone keeps you stuck and what actually has to happen for real change to take hold, and what your next step is. Not your whole plan, just the next step. So let's get started. We're living in the most information-rich time in history. You can find out anything about nutrition in about 30 seconds. You can find studies, meal plans, macro calculators, food lists, expert opinions, and counter opinions to those expert opinions. And yet, women are more confused about food than ever, more frustrated, more stuck. Here's the near miss that I see all the time. Knowing what to eat looks a lot like being ready to change, but it isn't. They're not the same thing. I've talked with women who could explain exactly how blood sugar works. Women who understand protein and satiety. Women who could tell me which foods spike insulin and which ones don't. Women who have done the research, read the books, and yet nothing changed for them. Because insight is not implementation. Awareness is the starting line. It's not the finish line. The gap between knowing and doing, that's where most women live. And if you've ever said, I know what I should be doing, but I just can't seem to stick with it, that gap is exactly where you are. And the reason you're there isn't because you lack information. It's because transformation doesn't live in your head. It lives in your behavior. Think about this. Do you have a vision for what you want? A version of yourself that feels lighter, more energetic, more comfortable in her body, less controlled by cravings? Most women I work with do. The vision is clear. It's vivid. They can describe exactly how they want to feel. But here's a truth that you might not like. Vision without execution is wishful thinking. Knowing a recipe by heart doesn't feed you. At some point, you have to actually cook the food, and then cook it again the next day, and then the day after that. Because it's the daily doing that changes your body, not the knowing. I see this all the time. You start the week with total clarity. You're motivated. You have a plan. You know what you're going to eat. And then real life shows up. And the gap between your vision and what you actually do, that gap is the problem. Not the plan, not the motivation. The space between knowing and doing. That's where progress goes to die. So what closes the gap? Behavior. Consistent, repeatable behavior. Not motivation. Motivation is a feeling. Feelings come and go. Behavior is what you do even when the feeling's gone. People don't stay motivated by potential. They stay motivated by progress. And progress only comes from doing the thing. Not planning to do the thing, but actually doing it. When life gets messy, and it will, the behavior has to shrink, not disappear. You don't abandon the plan. You scale it to fit your real life. Not your ideal life. Start where you are, give what you can. That's enough. One good choice at one meal is still a behavior. It still counts. It still compounds. And if you need something to hold on to when you're too tired to think, hold on to protein. Not the whole plan, not the perfect day, just protein. Find it first. If that's all you have time for, grab it and go. But if you have a few more minutes, build your plate around it. Protein's the anchor. Everything else fills in around it. That one decision made consistently is the behavior that holds when everything else falls apart. So what does that actually mean in practice? It means your vision matters. Keep it. But the work of getting there is not in the vision. It's in what you do between Monday morning and Sunday night. Here's something that took me a long time to really understand, and once I did, it changed how I work with every single client. We think that transformation works like this. First, you get your mindset right, then you feel ready, then you start. We think confidence comes first and then action follows, but that's actually backwards. Identity follows behavior, not the other way around. You don't become a woman who eats well and then starts eating well. You start eating well, one meal at a time, and over time, that becomes who you are. You don't feel like someone who exercises consistently and then starts moving your body. You start moving your body imperfectly, inconsistently at first, and then gradually that becomes part of how you see yourself. You don't wait until you trust your body and then make better choices. You make better choices and your body starts to respond, and that response builds trust. Transformation is not a light switch. It's a dimmer switch. It gets brighter as you act, slowly, then all at once. This is why the first step is never the diet. It is never the perfect plan. It's one behavior, one meal where protein comes first, one morning where you choose eggs over a muffin, one afternoon where you notice the craving and pause before you act on it. You're not trying to overhaul your life. You're trying to do the next right thing, and then the one after that. Most women are waiting for the moment, the breakthrough, the big shift where everything clicks and suddenly it all feels easy. And honestly, that moment is rare. And even when it comes, it's built on 100 small moments you probably didn't notice. Transformation is almost always incremental. Small, disciplined actions repeated over time. That's what creates lasting change. Nutrition works exactly the same way. One meal at a time, one good choice at a time, one day where you got it mostly right, and then another, and then another. It's not dramatic. It compounds. Small actions compound into habits. Habits compound into results. Results compound into a completely different relationship with your body than the one you have right now. What gets measured gets managed, and what gets managed improves. This is why I work with clients on tracking their body control panel. We don't obsess over numbers. We create awareness. Awareness around what's working, awareness of the patterns, awareness of progress, even when progress feels slow. Slow progress is still progress. A quiet day where you weren't driven by cravings is progress. A meal where you hit your protein without thinking about it is progress. A Tuesday night when you decide you'll skip the wine is progress. A week where you didn't start over on Monday is enormous progress. You've probably noticed that when you look back over a few weeks of small, consistent changes, more has shifted than you realized while it was happening. That is the compounding effect of incremental transformation. Here's what I've noticed after working with women on this for years. Left alone, we rationalize, we procrastinate, we justify, we have a hard day, and we tell ourselves we'll start fresh on Monday. And the reason is not weakness. The reason is that behavior change is genuinely hard to sustain in isolation. Transformation happens faster in the right environment. Environment matters. Who you spend your time with matters. What you see modeled for you matters. The support you get or don't get, that matters more than most women realize. When you're surrounded by women who are doing the work, something shifts. Not because they pressure you, but because they normalize it. When you see someone else navigating a hard week and staying consistent, it challenges the story you tell yourself about why you can't. When you have accountability, not someone checking up on you, but someone genuinely in your corner, you stop letting yourself off the hook so easily. This is one of the reasons I do what I do. Not to hand you a food list, not to give you a plan and send you off, but to be in it with you, to help you understand what's happening in your body, why it's happening, and what to actually do about it. And to be there when real life hits, because it will. Structure, not restriction. Accountability, not judgment. That's what changes the pattern. Here's what you have today that you didn't have before you listened. You now understand why knowing what to do is not the same as being able to do it. You understand that the gap between your vision and your results is filled by behavior, not intention. You understand that identity follows action, not the other way around. And you understand that transformation is not a breakthrough moment. It's a series of small, consistent choices that compound quietly until one day you realize the person you wanted to become is who you are now. You can't think your way into a healthy body, but you can start living your way into one right now with the next meal, the next choice, the next step. What's really going on is simpler than you think. The plan is not the problem. The gap between the plan and the doing is the problem. And the gap closes one behavior at a time. If you're ready to stop figuring this out alone, book a free 60-minute coaching session with me. Not because I have a silver bullet that will fix everything in one shot, but because doing this alone is why you haven't been able to break your pattern. The link is in the show notes. Transformation is not a moment. It's a practice. Start where you are, give what you can, and trust what consistent behavior does over time. I'll be back in the next episode.